Hello, welcome to the Art of Yoga Project's YouTube channel. My name is Holly. Today we will be engaging and experimenting with a restorative class, a brief restorative class. Hopefully help to instill some feeling of contentment within us. With the theme of respecting ourselves, we want to feel content with where and who we are, and this restorative practice can help us really sit into that and really feel and embody that feeling. We're going to begin with just a short little warm up. So sitting up nice and tall wherever you're at. If you have a bolster or if you have a block for today's practice, those things will be useful. A blanket and an eye pillow are optional as well. Sitting up on our bolster or our block can help our legs spill out more comfortably in front of us and our hips to release. So finding that support for this practice is particularly important for restorative, because when we're restoring, we want to feel supported and relaxed. And we're resting to restore. So orienting yourself with your space, arriving wherever you're at with whomever you're with. Let's start by shrugging our shoulders up towards the ears. And then exhale, letting the shoulders drip away from the ears. Inhale the shoulders up, and then exhale the shoulders down. Do a little bit of movement now with the elbows and the arms, bringing them up and back and down. Big, wide shoulder, arm circles, up and back, and then maybe back and forward. Moving nice and slow with your breath if you can. And exhale, let the palms come down. We'll begin by starting to just kind of tap the top of the head. And then tap the back of the neck. We'll tug the ears. Bringing ourselves to center, maybe closing the eyes. And let's just tap down our left arm and up our left arm, the inside. Across the chest and tap down. This will be a good way to just sort of wake up the body in a gentle way, tapping and then rubbing the tummy. In motion and then rubbing and tapping down the low back, the back of the kidneys, and then maybe down the legs. Pausing and just kind of noticing if we've woken up anything in the body by doing a little bit of tapping, and then switch which leg is in front. As we're sitting in an easy sit, switch whichever leg you've got in front. Tuck your chin in towards your chest, rub your palms vigorously together, creating heat between the palms. And can we figure any sort of love or attention that the body might need in this moment? And can we transfer it from the palms to that area? Maybe it's the shoulders. Maybe it's the belly or the hips or even the eyes. And then go ahead and do it again. Again, creating that heat, noticing the power of human touch, and knowing that you're most worthy of your own love and your own touch, and feeling content with that. Bringing the hands over the eyes or over the hips or the shoulders, and pausing to transfer that love to that part of our bodies, maybe even the mind. And we'll do this palming once more, rubbing the hands together, nice and vigorously, and then taking the palms wherever that may be, wherever is feeling like it needs contentness. Maybe it's a different area each time, or the same area each time. And then pausing to just take a moment to feel into a little check-in. If you're with others, we can check in with others. If you're alone, checking in silently with yourself. And thinking about sharing how you're feeling, what energy you're arriving with, and thinking about when is a time that you have felt most content. And what were you doing? Maybe if you're alone, just closing the eyes and thinking about what you were doing, who you were with, sharing it with whoever is with you that moment when you have felt most content. Otherwise, we're going to move in to, when we're ready to move into our asana or our poses practice, finding all props. And we'll go ahead and use the bolster to begin. And we'll bring the bolster to line up with our spines. So option also, if you have 2 blocks with restorative yoga, we use lots of props to help support us in our practice. I will offer the way to do it without the props as well, but we'll find our way into a diamond-shaped pose with the legs either way, with or without the blocks beneath your knees as support. Pillows can also go there. Support behind your spine as you relax down with your spine. Shoulders are spilling over our bolster. Option to roll up a blanket if you do not have a bolster. You can roll up a blanket. My blanket is very small and thin, but some are thicker. And you can relax that down beneath your spine. Or just relax down on your backs. Whatever you decide to do, feeling comfort and ease is key for our restorative practice. So wherever that posture is for you, feeling that comfort and ease, and bring in yourself back to a moment of feeling content. For me, contentness can mean relaxed. It can mean just feeling okay. Feeling like you are enough. So breathing into whatever part of the body you are needing more contentness, bringing that intention there. This is a very opening posture. Maybe you want your knees together and your legs long. If you choose, either way, opening with the legs and the chest. And we'll imagine opening up to our practice, opening to receiving a practice, and all the benefits it has to bring us. Breathing into our bellies, feeling them rise as we inhale away from the prop, and as we exhale back towards the prop. Inhale and exhale. During restorative yoga, it's important to remind yourself to give yourself time, knowing that there's no rush. And in order to feel more content, like less striving, less doing, and just arriving where you're at, and in stillness. Letting your shoulders open up a little bit further, spilling over your bolster if you have one. Feeling the insteps of the legs soften a little more on each exhale. And then once we're ready, slowly start to bring your knees together and roll yourself off of your prop, off of your bolster, and removing it to the side for now. Give yourself a big hug. So during restorative, we may want to feel held and relaxed. So balling up, holding yourself and your knees near. Also closing off and countering the opening we just did. Roll over to your side and sit yourself up when you're ready. Go ahead and find the feet on the floor, and we'll just support ourselves with our hands beneath our shoulders as we tick the knees side to side, massaging the outsides of our hips. And then once we're ready, go ahead and cross the ankles, coming into a position with your knees on the floor. If you need a blanket, placing it beneath your knees out wide, and see if we can just snug ourselves forward, using again your bolster if you would like. Using no bolster and using a block to support the head. Take a moment to breathe into our supported child's pose. Wherever you've chosen to be, with or without your props. Your hips are back on your heels. Our spines are rounded. We're going back to that feeling of when we were a child. Actually, when we're born, our spines are very round. We've not developed all these curves, all these complications that we develop into more dynamic curves in our spine as we grow older. See if we can let go of any of that and just feel nice and heavy and rounded into our innocent child pose. Maybe with a bolster beneath you, this can feel comforting. It can bring you back to an easeful time. Perhaps some of us feel most content when we're sleeping or when we've just woken up. Allowing yourself to tune into your breath as you extend your exhales. Inhale your belly into the prop. Exhale. The belly pulls up away from the prop. Maybe HM as you exhale, softening a little more into your hips. And then slowly coming up with the hands. Go ahead and slide the bolster a little more forward. Bring our legs out wide, maybe facing the side of your mat now. And bring your bolster in front of you. If you don't have the bolster, the block can be used for this part too. A book can be used for this part. You can place it on a high setting in front of you. And we'll sit up nice and tall. Inhale the arms up. And the legs are wide as feels nice. And then exhale, forward fold. Maybe creepy crawl your fingers forward. Head rests on the block on a high setting. Remembering to find ease and comfort. Trying not to push ourselves further than we need to go, and feeling content with where we're at. You can, if you have the bolster, again, using it just like we did in child's pose, rest one side of your face on the bolster and allow yourself to hinge forward. Anything supporting your upper body or your forehead, reminding yourself that restorative yoga is designed to help cool the body down and tap into that rest and restore. Instead of being in that fight or flight, tuning into doing all those things that the body does on its own naturally, like digest our food, when we're sleeping, when we're breathing. We're in our parasympathetic nervous system instead of our sympathetic nervous system, which is that fight or flight, that run. That's what pulls our hand away from the fire or keeps us from getting injured. We need to survive. But knowing that you're okay with where you're at now and you're safe to release. And it also takes our bodies at least 30 seconds to really physiologically respond fully to the pose and all of its benefits. Here in our wide-legged forward fold, we'll get a stretch of the insteps of our legs, where a lot of us store tension in the insides of our legs because we're constantly walking with our legs together or lying down with our legs together. So allowing this supported openness and breathing into each exhale and bringing that love to the insides of the legs. Remembering to take your time here as we slowly crawl our hands back towards our body and bring our shoulders back up. We're moving our bolster to the side. And this time, let's see if we can bring our knees in with some assistance. So bring your knees in with assistance from your hands, pull them together, round off, give yourself a big hug. Feeling content in this moment, in this stillness. We'll go ahead and move into another hip opener. So for this hip opener, we will do a supported pigeon. I will offer pigeon two different ways. We'll slide the left knee forward right knee forward so I can show you, and then the left leg back. If your hip comes off of the ground, snug something, a block, a bolster beneath your right hip. So that can be a block as well. If you're finding elevation here, wherever you're at, or you can keep your hips down if it's comfortably on the ground and your back leg is straight. Then you can bring your head to the block. Maybe you have a bolster beneath you and your head on a block. The more support, the better in our restorative pose, or restorative poses. So finding what works for you. One more option if this is not working for you. If you want to stay here, stay here. Another option to do our pigeon would be supine, lying on the back with right leg crossed over left, and you can pick up your left leg. That's a modification for those of you who are not comfortable in your knee and there's pain in your hip or your knee here. Finding which one works best for you, which pose you feel most content in. Tuning into some positive affirmations here. I am still. I am whole. I am enough. I am content. We'll enjoy the B breath here as we inhale through the nose. Join me as we exhale and hum. By humming, doing an HA sound, can help relax our muscles a little deeper, quiet the mind. If any negative judgments try to pop up while trying to be in stillness, just simply let it float away and arrive back in the present moment. One more breath on this side before we slowly come up and switch sides. So left leg in front, now right leg behind us. Taking which variation worked for you on the other side, also on this side, or noting that this side can feel completely different, and that's okay too. So again, options are the bolster prop beneath your left hip, the block prop beneath your left hip. If your hips are not elevated and your knees comfortable, maybe resting your head on a block or a pillow, or coming to, again, the supine version would be lying down on our backs, this time left ankle over right knee. whichever version suits you best, whichever version you feel most comfortable in. You feel most comfortable and content in taking that and relaxing down and taking your time to take 5 deep breaths on this side. Inhale into your nose. Exhale, maybe out of the mouth or with a hum. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, hum. 3 more deep breaths on this side. And remembering that when the going gets rough and we're feeling like we're in a stuck situation, can we come back to the breath and remind ourselves to be content, or make any shifts that we need to make to help ourselves feel more comfortable. Giving yourself that opportunity and that chance to rest and restore. And having an open dialogue with the breath during your restorative practice. So breathing nice and deep and strong, coming up and out. We'll arrive in our final pose. Just straighten out your legs in front of you for a moment. Shake them out. Final pose will be our pose of the month. Bridge pose. It's a pose we work with to help bring some energy, but in a calm way, to the body, using the block and the bolster for support though. Finding our way back onto our backs. Another option, if you would like to instead bring the block and elevate your bolster onto your block, you can use 2 blocks and sling your legs over. This is a good one for bringing energy into restless legs. Otherwise, we're going to go into bridge pose. If you're not wanting to do a back bend, you can do that. Otherwise, bring the feet in towards the butt, lift the hips up, and bring your bolster or your block or your pillow beneath your sacrum. Resting for a few breaths in our bridge, restored. Feeling the support beneath the hips, breathing in and breathing out. Can we breathe into our low backs? Feel our low backs come down to the block each exhale. Allowing yourself a few more moments in your supported bridge. Knowing that these restorative postures are designed when we're feeling held and supported to hold as long as you would like. So taking your time. Otherwise, we'll bring the hips up, remove all props, and relax onto our backs for a moment. Finding an eye pillow or a shirt or anything of the sorts to cover your eyes during our final relaxation. Anything to help support your feeling of contentness. Feeling content with the breath and where it's at naturally. Letting your body be held in stillness. Feeling content in the feet and in the toes and in the ankles and the lower legs, upper legs. Feeling content in the hips and in the stomach or torso, our spines, bringing that content with us to the shoulders and the back, the arms, the chest, the neck, and the face. Bringing this feeling with you as we start to slowly move out of our practice, so moving your face or your fingers or toes and rolling off to one side. And slowly assisting yourself up. So for a final checkout, thinking about what sometimes might get in the way of that feeling of content for us. What is it that is challenging sometimes when we're feeling like we're not content? And sharing that with whoever you're with, exploring ways to help get to a feeling of more contentment and at ease. Hopefully restorative yoga was helpful for that. For me, when I want to feel most content, I feel like what's challenging is I always have to do better or be better, and I don't feel content with where I'm at. But if I just slow down and literally let things come to a pause and stop and just listen, I feel more content. Hopefully we can all feel content together. Taking one last breath, inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands down wherever resonates with you. Again, thank you so much for practicing with me. My name is Holly Saita, and I hope to see you again back here at the Art of Yoga Project YouTube channel. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Namaste.